Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate, who came to establish religion universal. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I have chosen from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and that is how to wipe out ego. For all the conflicts, tensions, frictions, quarrels, ego is the main cause. And every individual being is very much aware of his ego. So, because of hurt feelings, people develop all negative qualities in life. By the time the life is over, mind is full of negative samskaras to suffer much more in coming life. So, ego must be taken out. There are various shades of ego. One is very common ego, where worldly people demonstrate every moment in their life, daily. But there is another ego which is also more dangerous than the worldly ego, and that is spiritual ego. I am Mahatma. Finished. Once you declare you are Mahatma, you are no more near God. You don't have to say I am Mahatma. It is for people to recognize. Real Mahatma is he who is free from ego, free from advertisement. So, there are lots and lots of episodes, incidents. If you are really careful to study them. And in modern times, if you want to take the example, Totapuri, the man of great realization, who did tapas for 40 years, in a kind of solitary life he led, and did realize Brahman, the absolute reality, the all-pervading universal consciousness, who is running through every one. The sum total of all consciousness is Brahman. And he had realized the truth. But because he had not realized the truth completely, there was a kind of spiritual ego. It was lingering. He was unaware of that. He became aware of that spiritual ego when he came in contact with Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna, the personification of humility, incarnation of humility. And Totapri initiated Ramakrishna into Advaita system of practice. He showed him how to meditate upon the absolute Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna followed his teachings. Totapri said, the truth which I realized out of my intense tapas for 40 years, Sri Ramakrishna realized the truth in 3 days. Just 3 days. He was astonished. So Totapri, the last guru in spirituality for Sri Ramakrishna. And now Sri Ramakrishna, out of his infinite compassion, Daya Sagara, he wanted to give fulfillment to Totapuri's realization. So when Totapuri, out of mysterious power of the divine, when he was staying with Sri Ramakrishna, he got excruciating pain, unbearable pain in the stomach. He was for the first time surprised. In his whole life, he had not have any sickness. He was robust, well-built body, good health. Actually, he did not know what is sickness. For the first time, it was terrible shock for him to undergo such severe pain. In that pain, he came to Sri Ramakrishna for getting some counsel. But as soon as he entered Sri Ramakrishna's room, the pain vanished altogether. No trace of pain. What would he ask? He went back. As soon as he went out of Sri Ramakrishna's room, from nowhere, again the pain started irritating him intensely. Second time, third time. Whenever he would come to Sri Ramakrishna, the pain would vanish. Whenever he would go out of Sri Ramakrishna's room, pain would come. Then he began to assert his spiritual ego. What? I have realized Brahman through intense spiritual sadhana. I showed Sri Ramakrishna also the way to realize the truth. Now should I be worry about this dirty pain? I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the pranas. I am none of these. So why should I bother? In spite of his strong assertion, pain would not go. The more he would assert himself, the more he would feel unbearable pain. Finally, he thought, good, now I will prove my realization. He wanted to get rid of this body, which was a cause for painful suffering. I am not the body, why do I care? Let it go. He thought he can give up the body on his own will. So with that idea firmly established in his mind, he entered into Ganges river. Probably might have seen Lemont, Dakshineshwar, Kali temple on the bank of Ganga, flowing from north towards south, towards the meeting the ocean. Beautiful Ganga, vast, wide. So he decided to give up his material body. I am not this body, fine. So he entered courageously, boldly, without fear, without anxiety, without what would happen to him in future. None of these things bothered him. I am not this, I am Brahman. He entered. You know, Ganges is very deep, you can't imagine, like ocean. He entered there. He entered into Ganges running river. He is walking through. Walking and walking to reach the other shore, thinking in the middle of the Ganges the body would drop. It would be drowned. But most surprisingly, the river Ganges could not drown him. Simply he was walking like a person walking on the street. He just reached almost on the other shore of Ganges river. He was amazed. He was totally amazed. What? What is this? His mind was so pure and he was guileless. He was sincere. All the spiritual qualities he had, except his ego. When he felt that way, immediately he got the vision of the Mother of the Universe. So the man was suffering so intensely up to that point. When he got that realization, he get into ecstasy. All pain gone forever. And he got the realization. Brahman and his power both are real. For the operation of the creation, Shakti is required. And that Shakti is none other than Brahman himself. So he came back and hugged Sri Ramakrishna. Today I got the fulfillment. Because of his 100% purity of mind, the divine Shakti herself showed compassion and corrected him. The point is, spiritual ego also should be taken out Of course, in our ancient scriptures, there are lots and lots of incidents. Devarshi Narad, who could always go and meet any god or goddess in the creation. He developed a kind of spiritual ego that he was the greatest devotee in the universe. Finished. And the Lord of the universe had to take trouble to make him humble. What? There's a farmer who has not studied any scriptures, humble and guileless. Go and see him. Compare his devotion to your devotion. Anyway, it's a big story. Finally, Narada understood. Humbleness, humility is the most important character of the Mahatma. Of course, the teachers, in order to guide the disciples, may show a kind of ego, but it is not the real ego, it is the apparent ego. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example. This ego of the Mahatmas is like the line drawn in water. So, please note, we are under the full control and domination of the ego. If you are planning sincerely to enter into spiritual realm, you must take positive steps to eradicate, to annihilate the ego. That's very, very important. In the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Prakritehe kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvashaha ahankar vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. All the spiritual teachings are given in Bhagavad Gita. Highly impersonal, universal, at the same time personal also. That means Lord Krishna has given to spiritual aspirants of any denomination. If you study Bhagavad Gita carefully, you will understand the glory of spiritual life. But very few people understand the importance of human birth. Very few people. 1 in 100 million. That also may not be correct figure. Do people really care for human birth? How carelessly and in a rash way they destroy the human birth. How much violence, hatred going on, pulled by ego. In today's Chicago Tribune, I saw a news item. Every day some dirty news will be there. That means the world is becoming saturated by all this nasty behavior of the people. When I read that news, I couldn't believe. Can it happen? It happened because quarrel between husband and wife, argumentation. That's the cause of quarreling. And argumentation, is fueled by tremendous ego. So much so, the wife became so angry. 7 weeks child, do you remember? Can you believe? Only 7 weeks born child. She swung the child to beat him. I could not believe it. Can it happen? Her own child, born in her own womb, only 7 weeks, 49 days. Can a mother throw the child like that? Loss of discrimination. Anger is blind. You don't know how you behave. And the baby got, I don't know what condition, but in the hospital it was declared the baby was stable. Argumentation. Why do you want to argue? Why do you want to convince another man? Why do you want to force another person? You be what you should be. There the matter ends. You have no business to look into anybody's affair, to talk about anybody, any manner. Do you follow this discipline? Then only you can try to eliminate ego. Otherwise, the demon ego is sitting on your neck, squeezing you. Squeezing you. Lord Krishna says in this particular verse, while all kinds of work are done by the modes of nature, he whose soul is bewildered by the self-sense, he thinks, I am the doer. Now, ego in Sanskrit called ahankar, which is a modification of avidya. Avidya means ignorance. Ignorance means darkness. This ahankar is responsible for the cycle of birth and death. So, we know the cause, we know the result. Still we are too dull to act upon. We need shock treatment. Severe shock treatment. In surgery also, they do that. Particularly for heart patients, they give severe shock treatment to activate the heart. And what is the shock treatment here? God is giving to us suffering. Suffering is a shock treatment. Do you open the eyes? Or still you want to close the eyes and enjoy daydream? Closing the eyes, you can't get rid of suffering. When you open the eyes, you feel more suffering than before. Suffering cannot go that way. Only through analytical mind and practical behavior. This has been pointed out in Vivekananda by great Acharya Shankar. Santyanye pratibandhaha pumsaha samsara hetavo drishtaha teshamevam moolam prathama vikaro bhavati ahankaraha. Excellent verse. There are other hindrances also to man, which are the causes of samsara. Then samsara means transmigration, coming back and forth into this world. Though there are other hindrances, of these, ahankar is the root and the first modification. All the great ones who have realized God point out again and again that one has to give up the false ego. It is because of ahankar that our intellect gets deluded. And because of this ahankara, we imagine and project the concept of I. To put it in another way, all our troubles can be traced to this concept of ego or ahankara. In the language of logic, there's a famous logic. It says there's a concept called the falsity of the premise. It's a beautiful concept. Falsity of the premise. Suppose we say that all philosophers are mad. Immanuel Kant was a philosopher, and therefore Immanuel Kant also was mad. Because you made general statement, all philosophers are mad. So Kant also was mad. This can, of course, be easily challenged. For here, the major premise that all philosophers are mad is wrong. So our conclusion too is wrong. Conception is wrong, so conclusion also is wrong. It is vitiated by what is called in logic the falsity of the major premise. To apply this in the present case, we make so many distinctions, such as I am so and so, I am the son of so and so, I am born in a particular family, I belong to this religion, and I speak this language. I am an engineer, I am a housewife, I am a student, I am a doctor, so on and so forth. All these are wrong conclusions, as they suffer from falsity of the premise. We forget our real divine self, our true self, that is Atman, and we lean upon our false ego, and we suffer. Therefore, if we want to realize God, this egocentric I must be completely rooted out. Unless it is done, one cannot realize one's true nature. Again, Shankaracharya develops this problem of false ego in a subsequent verse. Yavat syat swasya sambandhohankarena duratmana tavanna leshamatrapi muktivarta vilakshana. So long as there is any connection of oneself with the wicked ahankar, ego sense, there cannot be any talk, even in the least, of liberation, which is unique. So long we have the relationship with the vile ego, Not even the slightest talk of liberation is possible. Why? As long as we live on the plane of the ego, so long we have endless varieties of mental agitations about our name, family, wealth, learning, etc. Once this concept of ego is overcome, the varieties pertaining to so many upadhis, adjuncts, to which we are subjected because of the deluded intellect, disappear, and we realize the Supreme Self. So, ahankara, that is ego sense, ahankara is here called duratma, wicked. What is our usual attitude? Either I am the doer, karta, or I am the experiencer, bhokta. These are nothing other than the expressions of ego or ahankara. These attitudes have to be eliminated. Once we confine ourselves to this vile ego, what happens? We confine ourselves to the body, to the intellect, to the mind, and to all sense organs. As a result, through ignorance, we superimpose upon ourselves various sorrows and imperfections and suffer from all these. I think I have got the body, I was born, I have this painful disease. Mentally, I am dejected and very unhappy, I am depressed. But all these are from the standpoint of the vile ego. But when we transcend the limitations of this vile ego and reach somehow or other the higher dimensions of life, then these superimpositions drop off by themselves. Until then, we shall remain deluded. Why do we think wrongly? Because of our incorrect identification with our body-mind complex. We think that we are going to die and that we have so many kinds of deficiencies that we suffer endlessly. This makes life miserable. All these can be traced to the falsity of the premise. Thus we find in the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankarevacha janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanudarshanam. Dispassion to the sense objects, absence of egoism, and the reflection on the evils of birth, death, old age, sickness and pain. They are all there to teach us a lesson. To think deeply and dissociate yourself with this mechanism of body-mind complex. Arjuna was advised to ponder over and meditate upon the evil effects of all these, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi. But these, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, etc., pertain to our limited and finite self. We must continually ponder deeply over the evil effects of these sense objects, such as sound, touch, etc., of pleasures seen or unseen. Pain, all sorts of pain, whether adhyatmika, that is arising in one's own person, or adibhautika, that is produced by external agents, or adidaivika, that is produced by supernatural beings. Birth, etc. They are all miseries. Not that they are miseries in themselves, but because they produce misery. From such reflection arises indifference to sense pleasures, and the senses turn towards the innermost self for knowledge. And in doing so, we should cultivate the attitude, I have a higher dimension in my life. It is not just to indulge in external pleasures of the world and lose all your energy resources and become bankrupt towards the end of your life. Whom to blame? You only should be blamed. You only should be blamed. You must point the finger to yourself. So it comes to this. If we want to realize the goal supreme, we are to get rid of ahankar. And once we get rid of ahankar, what happens? Here is the consequence. Shankaracharya says in the Vivekananda, Sadaika rupasya chidatmano vibhorananda murte ranavadya kirtehe naivanyatha kvapi vikarinaste vinahamadhyasa mamushya samsritihi. But for the identification with that egoism, there can never be any transmigration for these who are immutable and eternally the same, the knowledge absolute, omnipresent, the bliss absolute, and of untarnished glory. Once we overcome the limitations of this ego, then we realize in this very life our true nature as eternally pure, intelligent, unlimited, and of the form of bliss. If we are after the final goal, we must take care of the means. We are now dealing with one such important means, that is the absence of the ego. Again Shankaracharya says in the Vivekananda, Tasmad ahankaramimam swashatrum bhokturgale kantakavat pratitam vichidya vijnana mahasina sputam bhungshvatma samrajya sukam yateshtam. Beautiful Sanskrit words with tremendous meaning. Shankaracharya says, having analyzed this, destroy this egoism. Egoism, your enemy, which appears like a thorn sticking in the throat of a man taking his meal. With the great sword of realization, and enjoy directly and freely the bliss of your empire, the majesty of the Atman. That's the meaning of the verse I quoted. Therefore, since it is agreed by all that absence of ego leads to the realization of the goal, we should remember always that this ahankar is a formidable enemy. Unless we destroy ahankar, which is to be considered as a thorn in our throat, we cannot attain the goal we want. Suppose we are eating and somehow a thorn sticks in our mouth. What happens then? We can't eat or enjoy the food, however delicious the dish may be. Why? Because there is a thorn in our throat. What is the remedy? Somehow or other, the thorn has to be taken out. Sometimes it so happens that it gives such a painful sensation that one has to go to ENT doctor, specialist, as the patient cannot eat or relish any food. Similarly, we have to destroy the enemy, the sense of ego. Otherwise, we can't enjoy the bliss of the self. As with the help of the forceps or knife, the thorn is removed from the throat so that we may enjoy our food. Similarly, with the help of the sword of jnana, wisdom, we have to remove the ego sense to enjoy the felicity of the empire of the Atman. This concept of ego has been dealt with in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in a dialogue between Vijayakrishna Goswami and Sri Ramakrishna. Vijaya asked Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, why is it that we are bound like this? Why is it that we do not realize God? Sri Ramakrishna replied, all troubles come to an end when the ego dies. The ego has to be killed. All troubles will be over once the ego dies. Then Sri Ramakrishna added, if by the grace of God a man can realize that he is not the doer, not the karta, nor the bhokta, the enjoyer, just an agent, if he is well established in that concept, he is liberated. That's what the message in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says to Arjuna, Nimitta matram bhavasavyasachin. Nimitta matram. Just feel you are an instrument. You are saved from all dangers. You are saved from all sins. No sin can touch you. Anyone who, by the grace of God, can realize that he is not the doer, becomes a Jivan Mukta. That means gets liberation while in life. That means one must give up one's false ego. Then this is possible. To substantiate his point, Sri Ramakrishna gives one example. He said, he quotes from Adhyatma Ramayana, Sri Ramachandra was only 2.5 cubits away ahead of Lakshman. But Lakshman could not see him because between Sri Rama and Lakshman stood Sita. So Sri Ramakrishna said, Lakshman can be compared to the Jiva and Sita to Maya. Man cannot see God on account of the barrier of Maya. It is the ego that separates the Jiva from Brahman. Once the ego is removed, the Jiva realizes that he is none other than Brahman. Then Sri Ramakrishna says that the Jiva is nothing but the embodiment of Satchidananda. But since Maya or ego has created many upadhis, the Jiva cannot realize that he is Satchidananda. Let us stop here and continue next Tuesday, the same topic. Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are coming towards the end of the Gospel. God cannot be seen, Sri Ramakrishna said. God cannot be seen without yearning of heart. And this yearning is impossible unless one has finished with the experiences of life. Those who live surrounded by lust and gold and have not yet come to the end of their experiences do not yearn for God. When I lived at Kamarpukur, Hridaya's son, a child 4 or 5 years old, used to spend the whole day with me. He played with his toys and almost forgot everything else. But no sooner did evening come than he would say, I want to go to my mother. I would try to cajole him in various ways and would say, here, I'll give you a pigeon. But he wouldn't be consoled with such things. He would weep and cry, I want to go to my mother. He didn't enjoy playing anymore. I myself wept to see his state. One should cry for God that way, like a child. That is what it means to be restless for God. One doesn't enjoy play or food any longer. After one's experiences of the world are over, one feels this restlessness and weeps for God. The devotees sat in silence, listening to the Master's words. When evening came, a lamp was lighted in the room. Preparations were being made for feeding Keshav and the devotees. Keshav Chandra Sen said with a smile, what? Puffed rice again today? Master smilingly said, Hriday knows. The devotees were served first with puffed rice and then with luchi and curries on leaf plates. All enjoyed the meal very much. It was about 10 o'clock when supper was over. The master went to the Panchavati with Keshav and the devotees. Master said to Keshav and the others, "One can very well live in the world after realizing God. Why don't you first touch the granny and then play hide and seek?" After attaining God, a devotee becomes unattached to the world. He lives like a mud fish. The mud fish keeps its body unstained, though it lives in mud. About 11 o'clock, the Brahmos became eager to go home. Pratap said, "It would be nice if we could spend the night here." Master said to Keshav, "Why not stay here tonight?" Keshav said smilingly, "No, I have business to attend to. I must go." Master, "Why must you, my dear sir? Can't you sleep without your fish basket?" He gives the example. Once a fish wife was a guest in gardener's house. She was asked to sleep in a room full of flowers, but she couldn't get any sleep there. All laugh. She was restless and began to fidget about. The gardener called to her, "Hello, why are you not sleeping?" "Oh, I don't know," said the fish wife. "There are flowers here. The smell keeps me awake. Can't you bring me my fish basket?" She sprinkled a little water in the basket, and when she smelled the fish, she fell fast asleep. All laughed heartily. Keshav took a few of the flowers that he had offered at Sri Ramakrishna's feet on his arrival. He and his Brahma devotees cried out, "Do you have any questions about the topic today?"
The first time I'm attending Golf Club. As you said that ego is the root of all suffering. But what is the mode of getting the egoism?
Mode of getting rid of.
Getting rid of, and what is the process?
Process there are many. Sri Ramakrishna himself tells in the gospel, if you can't uproot the ego, if it is troubling you, make that rascal ego as servant ego. I am the servant of God. I am the devotee of God. God is my master. I am the child of God. God is my mother. God is my friend. These attitudes will subdue the ego. And keeping that attitude, you must maintain your life. Gradually, you'll be able to conquer the ego. Subduing. First you have to subdue. And then the ego merges in God. When Hanuman was asked by a devotee, Hanuman said, he opened his chest, "Look at what is there inside." Sri Ram, "Yes, I am that. There is no my ego. My ego is in Sri Ramchandra." That's the way. Short answers are given. Any more questions? Pratibha Devi, Manjusha Devi, Maya Devi, Anjali Devi. So many Devis are here. Well, take it easily. Spiritual life is not difficult really. To tell you the truth, worldly life is difficult. All the time you have to keep on struggling. All the time you will be in friction, tension, stress and strain. Is it not more difficult than spiritual life? In spiritual life you are carefree. You have nothing. Why? Everything belongs to God. Finished. I am the child of God. Why should I worry? If you want something, then you should worry. I don't want anything. Na shochati, na kankshati, na dveshti. These are the qualities of the devotee. Na kankshati, no desire. Na shochati, no grief. Why should I desire anything at all. Why? Why should I waste my senses in enjoying the things? Let me focus it on the divine. If you are able to focus on the divine, if you are able to do meditation with full concentration, you will realize the truth. Once you realize the truth, you know the whole universe is filled by God consciousness. Isha vasimidam jagat yatkincham jagatyan jagat. The whole universe creation is filled up with God consciousness. And you get that experience. Because you get that experience, you will be in ecstatic state. You can't contain that ecstasy. Because infinite ananda, infinite, limitless, that's the beauty. Alright, we shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bought for very selves. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself. Give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee, a drowning man in this world's fearful ocean, a thy servant, O sweet one, in thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with this desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the joy of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear, may the Lord destroy of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased, he being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.